What if I told you that this device will completely change how you experience your favorite retro handheld games? This is the Analogue Pocket. The Pocket is a premium handheld retro gaming console. Its primary function is the ability to play original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. And like the other products in Analogue's console lineup, it's powered by an FPGA that should create a nearly perfect play experience by emulating the hardware architecture of Nintendo's early handhelds. And I can say that playing on the Pocket truly lives up to the hype. The Pocket looks absolutely incredible. While it does take some inspiration from its namesake, the Game Boy Pocket, it's more akin in size and design language to the original DMG. Analogue's legacy for tasteful, modern reimaginings of retro consoles is on full display here. With clean lines, gently rounded corners, and a beautiful but unfortunately delicate matte finish, it's no surprise that the Pocket has won several design awards already. The Pocket has all the inputs and buttons one would expect from a console like this. It features USB-C charging, a link cable port to connect to other consoles, and an SD card slot for updating the firmware and loading other console cores. Then, there's the screen. This is where the Pocket really starts to pull away from the competition. On paper, the specs are impressive. It has a resolution of 1600 by 1440, which is 10 times that of the original Game Boy. However, it's the way Analogue takes advantage of this power that makes playing on the Pocket a truly nostalgic experience. The Pocket has a number of screen modes that can emulate the display of your favorite Game Boy system. There's the iconic green of the DMG, a more subtle gray for the Game Boy Pocket, a bluish tint for the more rare Game Boy Light, and variations of the Game Boy Color, and the different hardware revisions for the Game Boy Advance. And I want to make this clear, these aren't simple palette swaps. Because of the high resolution, the screen can recreate the look and feel of each Game Boy display, down to their unique characteristics and pixel grids. And seeing games like this takes me way back to my childhood, but with a clarity and vibrancy I could have only dreamed of. Analogue has married the charm and nostalgia of our favorite handhelds with modern technology in a way that doesn't replace playing on original hardware, but in my opinion, actually improves upon it. The screen is without a doubt best in class. Then there's the multitude of software features available in the Pocket. The operating system has a library that keeps track of your collection, and you can even upload box art images for your different games, which is something I still need to do. There's also a digital audio workstation that allows you to make music on the Pocket, which is cool but probably not something I'll use very much. And finally, there's Open FPGA, the feature that, for many of you, is probably the one you're most excited about. It allows you to upload community-developed console cores to the Pocket, opening it up to a library of thousands of more games, everything from the Sega Genesis, NES, Super Nintendo, arcade games, and much more. And because the cores are run on the FPGA, many believe it delivers a superior experience to your typical emulation console. And while I understand the appeal of having thousands of games at my fingertips, this is actually not my favorite feature of the Pocket. For me, the best feature of the Pocket is its most basic, the cartridge slot. You see, the ability to emulate these games has existed for many years, whether on a Raspberry Pi, a PC, or a dedicated emulation console. All of these games are and have been easily accessible. Simply being able to play them hasn't been the problem. And that's where the Pocket is different. I'm not just playing any games, I'm able to play my games, games that I've owned since childhood, my own personal collection. And trust me, I've gone down the emulation rabbit hole, downloading ROM sets and having entire console catalogs ready to go. But for me, every time I've gone down that road, it always ends the same way. I'll pick up a game, check it out for a little while, and then stop and try another, until I find that I really have no attachment to anything that I'm playing. Everything is just too accessible. It's the same feeling I would get using cheat codes. It just ruins the entire experience for me. Now, it might sound overly nostalgic, but I like the experience of picking a game off the shelf and popping in the cartridge. It's a ritual, one that we all had to engage with back in the day when we played these games. That little bit of friction, combined with our limited collections, meant that we really cherished every game that we had. We would play them over and over, beat them over and over, and they weren't just a throwaway experience. I don't just want to play these games, I want to relive them, and the Pocket satisfies that in ways that no other console has. Playing through my collection on the Pocket has been an incredible experience. Being able to pop in a cartridge, choose a screen type, and really immerse myself in the moment has reconnected me to these games in a way that I didn't think was possible. The games look and play as good as they ever have. And if you're into emulation and having every game at your disposal, that's great. The Pocket does have something for everyone. But if you really want to get the most out of the Pocket, slow down, play the games that you love the most, and fully appreciate the care and detail that Analogue has put into this device. The Analogue Pocket is the best handheld you can buy right now.